Be me 21 years old university student, majoring in business analytics, not a total autist, but definitely quiet, keep my head down, get good grades, play video games. Sleep life is peaceful, enter, strategic management 401, mandatory capstone course for graduation professor is this ancient guy. Dr. Holloway looks like he fought in 3 wars and started a Fortune 500 company in his sleep, scary as hell. Take 0 BS first day of class, you will be placed in groups of 3 for the entire semester. Internal screaming MP3, your final grade depends 50% on a massive presentation at the end of the term. If you fail the presentation, you fail the course. If you fail the course, you don't graduate. Stakes are high, palms are sweaty. Mom Spaghetti Holloway starts reading out groups, praying for the nerdy Asian kid or the quiet girl in the front row. Destiny has other plans, group 7. Anon, Sarah. And Brad, my soul leaves my body. Look across the room, see Brad, absolute quintessential rich kid fraternity star, wearing a polo shirt that costs more than my car, sunglasses on inside. Because the sun never sets on being a douche, he's leaning back in his chair. Feet on the desk, scrolling on his phone, doesn't even look up when his name is called. Sarah is sitting next to me. She looks like she's about to cry. She's nice, hardworking. Average student, we exchange a look of mutual doom. This is going to be a long semester. First group meeting in the library, Sarah and I arrive 10 minutes early. We start brainstorming ideas for our project. Topic is analyzing the failure of a major tech company. We decide on Quibi because it's hilarious. 30 minutes pass, no Brad. 45 minutes pass, Brad strolls in holding an iced coffee. Sup nerds. Sorry I'm late, had to handle some business. Smells like cheap beer and expensive cologne. Sits down, puts his feet on the table. So what are we doing? I figure we just throw something together about Apple, right? Easy. A explained to him we already picked Quibi and started the outline. He laughs. Quibi, who cares? Look, you guys handle the research and the typing stuff. I'm the visionary here. I'll handle the presentation. I'm a natural public speaker. I can sell ice to an Eskimo, bro. Just give me the slides and I'll work my magic. Sarah looks at me. I look at Sarah. We both know arguing is pointless. I nod. Sure, Brad. We'll do the research. You just show up. Weeks go by. Sarah and I are in the trenches, spending hours in the library, digging through financial reports, making graphs, analyzing market trends, writing the script. We create a shared Google Drive folder. Invite Brad. Brad accepts invite, never opens a single document. I can see the activity logs. Last seen. Never send him texts in the group chat. Hey Brad, need you to look at the slide deck draft. Brad, looks good bro, he replied in 3 seconds. The deck is 40 slides long. He didn't even click the link. Sarah is panicking. Anon, he's going to tank us. He doesn't know anything about the topic. I tell her to calm down. I have a plan. Just do the work, make sure our parts are perfect. What about Brad's part? She asks. Write a script for him. Bullet points, simple words. Make it idiot-proof. 1 week before the presentation, we have a mandatory practice run. Brad actually shows up. Miracle.jpg. He looks hungover, glances at the slides Sarah made. Whoa, way too much text. People don't want to read, they want to feel the energy. I'm gonna ad-lib most of this, trust the process. I step in. Brad, Dr. Holloway is strict on data. You need to cite the numbers. Brad rolls his eyes. Listen, Anon. I know you're used to being a calculator, but this is the real world. In the boardroom, it's about charisma. You guys are boring, I'm the spice. Don't embarrass me up there with your stuttering. Just click the slides and let the alpha handle it. Excuse me with the fuck gif. He puts his hand on my shoulder, squeezes a bit too hard. Seriously, don't make me look bad. I need this grade to keep my dad off my back. He smirks and walks away. Didn't practice a single line. Sarah is hyperventilating. We're doomed. We're actually doomed. I look at Brad walking away. Something snaps inside me. I've done 90% of the work, of lost sleep, of skipped raid night with the boys, and this guy thinks he can treat me like his personal assistant and then threaten me. Time for malicious compliance, time for the nuclear option. The night before the presentation, Sarah sends me her final edits. Text Brad, hey man, final deck is up. Please review your section, slides 15 minutes 25. It's technical, Brad, bro, I'm at a mixer. Stop buzzing my phone. I got this, just click the button. Okay, Brad. I'll just click the button. I open the PowerPoint. I save a copy as final presentation real PPTX. I keep the one shared with Brad as final presentation Vone PPTX. Brad has never looked at either. I start editing the real presentation. I don't change the facts, I don't change the data, but I add notes, speaker notes, and I tweak the animations, and I embed a few specific backup slides at the very end. Just in case. Go to sleep with a smile on my face. Sleep like a baby. D-Day lecture hall is packed. 100 students. Dr. Holloway sitting front and center, with a clipboard, looking like he's ready to execute someone for a typo. Sarah is vibrating. She's so nervous. I'm calm. Brad walks in 2 minutes before we start, wearing a suit that fits perfectly. Hair slicked back, looks like he owns the place. Winks at a group of sorority girls in the front row. Comes over to us. Sup team. You guys ready to witness greatness? Smells like breath mints covering up tequila. Brad, did you read the slides? I ask one last time. Relax, Rain Man. I skimmed them in the Uber. We're talking about a failed app, right? I know the gist. Holloway calls us up. Group 7. Begin. We get on stage. I hook up my laptop HDMI cable connected projector. Whirs to life. Sarah starts us off. She's shaky at first, but finds her rhythm. Solid introduction. Explains the market landscape. I take over for the middle section. Technical analysis. Financial burn rate. I'm crushing it. Making eye contact with Holloway. He's nodding. This is a good sign then. It's Brad's turn. The conclusion and lessons learned. I hand the clicker to Brad. No, Brad insisted I click for him so he can use his hands to express. Fine by me. Brad steps to the center of the stage, flashes $1,000,000 smile. Thanks, Anon. Great attempt at the numbers, a bit dry, but we'll get to the real meat now. Scattered laughs from his frat buddies in the back. He's already trying to bury me, trying to make me look like the boring nerd assistant. Brad looks at the screen slide. Why Quibi failed, the disconnect between content and user behavior. Brad starts talking. So, guys, Quibi big fail, huge. Basically, they didn't understand that people. He glances at the slide. I click to the next bullet point. Turnstile technology was innovative but unintuitive. Brad, yeah, the technology, it was turning, and people don't like turning. They like straight lines. Holloway looks up, eyebrow raised. Brad catches the vibe, tries to pivot, but really it's about leadership. I know a thing or two about leadership. See, when you run a company or a group project, he looks back at me and smirks, you have to carry the dead weight. You have to be the alpha. The room goes quiet. This dude is actively roasting his partners during a graded final. Sarah looks horrified. Brad continues, my partners here, they're great at the boring stuff. Typing, reading books. But they lack vision. Just like Quibi lacking vision, that's the metaphor I'm going for. He thinks he's killing it. He thinks he's being charmingly arrogant. He's just crashing. Holloway interrupts, Mr. Brad. Please address the specific marketing budget allocation regarding the Super Bowl ads referenced in your report. Brad freezes deer in headlights. He hasn't read the report. He doesn't know there was a Super Bowl ad. He sweats. Right. The Super Bowl, immense spending, huge numbers. But was it effective? I'd argue, yes and no. Anon, why don't you pull up the graph for that? He tries to throw it back to me. He wants me to save him. I look him dead in the eye. Neutral face. Brad, that graph is on the slide behind you. You just have to explain the x-axis. Brad turns around, looks at the graph. It's a complex scatter plot. He has no idea what he's looking at. Right. Well, as you can see, silence stretches for 10 seconds. It's agonizing. Brad chuckles nervously. Tech issues, am I right? My team probably pasted the wrong chart. Let's move on. I want to talk about the future. He's digging his grave, but he's trying to pull me in with him. Actually, Brad says. Stepping closer to the audience, I think the real lesson here is about preparation. I tried to get my team to focus on the big picture, but they got bogged down in details. Sometimes you have to improvise when your support staff lets you down. He gestures at me like I'm a disappointed servant. Okay, game on. I press the B key on the keyboard. Screen goes black for a second. Standard PPT shortcut. Then I exit the presentation mode. I accidentally minimize the slide deck, revealing the desktop. But it's not the desktop. I had opened a folder named Project Communication Logs and a PDF of the version history projected on the massive 20-foot screen behind Brad. The entire class sees it. Dr. Holloway sees it. Brad doesn't see it yet because his back is to the screen. He hears the class gasp/murmur. What? You guys impressed? I know it's deep stuff. I fumble with the mouse. Sorry, technical difficulty. I say, monotone. I open the first image. It's a screenshot of the group text from last night, the one where Brad said, "Bro, I'm at a mixer. I got this. Just click the button." Massive laughter from the audience. Brad spins around. What the F? I click next. Screenshot of the Google Doc history. Anon. 45 hours edited. Sarah. 38 hours edited. Brad. 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Brad's face turns bright red. Hey, turn that off. That's private. Holloway stands up. Leave it on. Voice like thunder. Brad shrinks 3 inches. I panic and try to close the window, but accidentally open the next one. It's an email Brad sent to the professor, which I was BCC'd on because he hit reply all to the initial group thread weeks ago by mistake and never realized. Email reads, Dr. Holloway, regarding the group project, I'm worried my partners aren't pulling their weight. I might need to take lead to save the grade. Sent 3 weeks ago when he hadn't attended a single meeting. The Audacity is projected in 4000 resolution. The class is losing it. People are taking photos with their phones. Brad turns to me, veins popping in his neck. You little rat. You did this on purpose. He lunges for the laptop. I simply step back. He trips over the HDMI cable, doesn't fall, but stumbles awkwardly. Looks like a total clown. Holloway walks up to the stage, slowly, ominously stands next to Brad. Brad is panting, sweating through his expensive suit. Mr. Brad, Holloway says. Calm but deadly in strategic management, one of the key principles is knowing your resources. and knowing your liabilities. It appears you have miscalculated both. Holloway turns to the class. Presentation is over. Anon, Sarah, excellent data analysis. I've seen the logs you submitted with your final report. Brad, see me in my office immediately. Brad tries to argue, but professor, they sabotaged me. This is unprofessional. Holloway points to the door. Out. Brad grabs his bag, tries to muster some dignity, looks at me. You're dead, nerd, you're dead. Walks out, trips on the doorframe. On the way out, door slams shut. The room is dead silent. Then someone in the back starts a slow clap. It spreads. Sarah is shaking, gripping my arm. Did you plan that? I close the laptop. I just clicked the buttons like he asked. We sit down. Rest of the class goes by in a blur. People high-fiving me on the way out. Get an email that night. Grade 98/100. Comment from Holloway. The presentation regarding Quibi was thorough. The practical demonstration of management failure was exemplary. Brad dropped the class the next day. Heard he had to retake it over the summer. With Holloway again. Saw him on campus a month later. He crossed the street to avoid me. Sarah and I are still friends. She bought me a steak dinner as thanks. Moral of the story. You can mess with the quiet kid, you can mess with the nerd, but never mess with the guy who controls the projector. Be me. 1 year later, graduated. Got a job as a data analyst. Life is good. Working late. One night cleaning up some files on my personal cloud. Find the Brad folder. Still makes me chuckle. Decide to look up Brad on LinkedIn. Curiosity kills the cat. Profile picture is him on a boat. Holding champagne. Job title: entrepreneur/visionary. Work history: freelance consultant. Translation: unemployed. Scroll down to his skills section. Endorsed by 0 people for public speaking. Endorsed by 0 people for teamwork. I see an option to endorse him. Hover over the button for Microsoft PowerPoint. Nah, that would be too cruel. Close tab. Sip coffee. Feelsgoodman.jpg. Rewind a bit to the immediate aftermath. Though because the story didn't just end at the door slam, need to tell you about the trial. 2 days after the presentation, I get summoned to the dean's office. Brad. Formal complaint claimed I hacked his personal data and defamed him in an academic setting. Claimed it was bullying. Rich kid tactics. 101. If you lose, sue. I show up to the office. Dean is there. Holloway is there. Brad is there with his dad. Brad's dad looks exactly like an older, angrier Brad wearing a suit that costs more than my tuition. This student humiliated my son. Dad yells, violated his privacy. Displayed private texts. Dean looks concerned. Anon, is this true? Did you display private communications? I pull out my phone, open the group chat, scroll to the very top. First message from me. Hey guys, just setting up this chat for school purposes only. All comms here are for the project record. Brad's reply, yeah, whatever. I look at the dean. It was a designated workspace channel, sir. And the email was sent to a university address. I simply provided a transparent view of the project's workflow as part of the process analysis section. Holloway hides a smile behind his hand. Brad's dad turns to Brad. You said he hacked your phone. Brad is sweating again. Well, he manipulated the context. Holloway speaks up. The only context missing was your contribution, Brad. I checked the file metadata myself. Time spent by Anon, 52 hours. Time spent by Sarah, 48 hours. Time spent by Brad, 4 minutes. The 4 minutes was opening the file to change the font on his name to be larger than the others. Silence in the room. Brad's dad looks at the paper. Holloway slides over, looks at Brad. Brad shrinks into his chair. Dad stands up. We're done here. Looks at me. Good luck with your studies, son. Grabs Brad by the shoulder. Car. Now, they leave. Dean looks relieved. Well, that settles that. Anon, try not to cause a scene next time. No promises, Dean. Walking back to my dorm, run into some guys from Brad's frat, expecting a beatdown. Clench my fists. Biggest guy, total meathead, steps forward, stops in front of me. Yo. You're the slide guy, right? I nod, bracing for impact. That was freaking hilarious, bro. He starts laughing. Brad has been acting like he carried your group for weeks. Telling everyone he was the genius. Watching him trip over that cable. Top 5 moments of the year. You're all right, nerd. You're all right? They walk past. I realize Brad didn't just lose the grade. He lost the locker room. He lost his alpha status, all because he was too lazy to read 20 slides and too arrogant to treat people with respect. Fast forward to graduation day. Walking across the stage, shake Holloway's hand. He leans in. I still use your presentation as an example in my intro classes. A non-example of what? Sir, of what happens when you confuse confidence with competence. He winks. Get my diploma. Look out into the crowd. Spot my parents cheering. Spot Sarah waving. Don't see Brad. Heard. He transferred to a different school halfway through the next semester, some party school down south, where grades are optional, probably telling everyone there how he almost ran a tech startup. Back at his old uni. Doesn't matter. I won not because I was stronger, not because I was louder, but because I kept the receipts, and I knew how to use a crop tool. Later that night at the grad party, Sarah comes up to me. She's had a few drinks, you know. I was terrified of you for a while after that. Why? I ask. Because you were so cold. You just dismantled him without raising your voice. It was kinda scary. I laugh. I was terrified too, Sarah. I thought he was going to punch me, but I figured if I'm going down, I'm taking his reputation with me. She clinks her glass against mine to the projector, to the projector. Finish drink, go home, boot up PC, load into a game. Someone in voice chat starts trash talking, calling everyone trash. Saying he's carrying the team, saying we're all useless. I check the scoreboard, he's bottom, fragging 0 kills. 12 deaths, I smile, open the chat box, type. Check scoreboard, he rages, disconnects, some things never change, war. War never changes, but idiots. Idiots are a renewable resource, and business is booming. Thanks for reading. Don't be a Brad, always read the slides. And for the love of God, treat the quiet kid with respect. You never know what he has in his folder, Finn.